This is a last minute kind of unexpected video, but it is really important. Right now we are sitting on July 5th, 2021, and there has been a pattern, especially within this past month, I would say, but also within 2020 and really the past couple of years, that light workers and starseeds have been targeted and attacked by the dark side. That's not really a surprise because we are technically in the middle of World War III. I actually put out a whole video entitled World War III back in 2018, actually. And what I mean by the fact that we're in this giant, world war, if anything, we're in a universal war right now. It is between the different polarities, high vibration and low vibration. And the beautiful thing about fighting for the light, and, I even hesitate to use the word fighting, is that when the light wins, it only ever brings us back into unity. And unity only ever means that the light and the dark can coexist simultaneously. When the dark wins, okay, it's just the dark. They want to completely squash. They want to completely purge the light. And what's basically been going on in the universe at a much grander scale is happening in a very condensed way right here on this planet. Now, what's happening especially right now, because I have talked a lot about light and dark and the battles and the things that we've been through both on and off this planet, but to kind of bring it up to date right now, there is another huge wave of dark energy that is hitting the planet, and wave is the appropriate word, and basically this wave is trying to suppress us, trying to lower our vibrational frequency. The reason why starseeds and light workers are more susceptible to getting attacked is because we shift and change the vibration of the collective on the planet without even having to say or do anything. Just by being in your own individual blissful reality, you can change the collective. However, when you get influenced by mass news, media, when you get put down or abused by friends or family members, when you absorb too much of conspiracy theories, even though I do hesitate to call it that, once again, just more programming, but when you get too involved in the different agendas that are happening, we lose our power to the external reality that is happening around us, and it convinces us, all of that fight or flight, all of that passion, all of that drive, all of that fear, all of that anger, convinces us that that this is real. And it's not. It's not. It's not. The only thing that's really real in this entire universe is energy and frequency and vibration. So I don't care what side you're playing on. I don't care what you're fighting for or not fighting for. If you choose a side, you are feeding into the matrix. And that's exactly what they want. That's the problem. That is exactly what they want. At this time, myself and pretty much every single person I know, who are all light workers and starseeds, have all been extremely targeted. This is nothing new. If you've been on this path for a while, we've all been down this road before. I mean, I've been targeted by the dark side since I was a kid, like literally since day one on this planet. Probably a long time ago in other lifetimes as well, and so have you, all right? This is not new. Our soul knows this. But when we get broken down and broken down and broken down, it can lead to some really unfortunate and devastating effects. for a lot of starseeds, and we're seeing a lot of that with teenagers, a lot of that with young kids. And I'm talking about chronic anxiety, chronic depression, and suicidal tendencies in our youth. Not just because they're a starseed and they're having difficulty navigating and no one's really telling them about consciousness, but also because they are getting targeted by the dark side before they are strong enough to battle it on their own. Okay. I also want to mention too that for all of the individuals, obviously none of you, who are existing in the third dimension frequency, which is basically, you can consider it like an autopilot frequency. Life is good. This is all I have. I'm just going to work and I'm just a family man and that's what I do. They're not getting targeted. They're not getting attacked. Why would they be? All right. They're not getting attacked because they're not shifting the vibration on the planet. When they start to wake up, which I believe that they all are capable of doing, they will get attacked. So the first thing I want to start off with is, if you're getting attacked in any sort of way, it's because you're evolving and you're ascending. And yeah, I know that sounds kind of messed up and kind of like, I think that dark attacks are a good thing. And you know what? I do think that they're a good thing, because for me anyway, having to navigate many psychic attacks and reptilian people in my life and what have you, I'm a better person for it. I'm a well-rounded, I've experienced both sides. Because I've experienced the dark side, I can really fully connect with the light and even understand what is true light versus what is false light or a projection. So I love it. I love it, but it's freaking exhausting and it really just never seems to end. Now, especially at this time, this wave of dark energy hitting all of these starseeds is happening for a reason. I believe it's happening because we're getting stronger. There are more of us waking up. They are attacking us because they are scared. And they have a reason to be. So, here are some common symptoms that you're going to experience during a psychic attack, especially at this time. Exhaustion is by far the biggest experience that you're going to have getting psychically attacked, because a lot of attacks drain your life force energy. So just keep that in mind. Extreme doubt, having and going through extreme doubt. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I did that correctly. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want. All right. They really feed off of that life force energy, lower our frequency to a point where, you're skeptical of everything. You're paranoid beyond paranoid, and you have no idea what's going on, right? There's so much doubt, and within that doubt, there is the unknown, and within the unknown, there is the fear, right? That's the ultimate goal. That lowers our frequency, so not only can we not help ourselves or our family members, but we can't help the world, right? Also, like body aches. So bizarre. Is anyone else experiencing extreme body aches, especially in the past month or so? Like I said, attacks kind of come in waves. And the confusing thing is a lot of these symptoms are also directly correlated to an increase, an unlocking of DNA, an unlocking, an activation. But here we have it, two sides of the coin. You are getting activated as you're getting attacked, and that's why you're getting attacked, because you're opening up and ascending to a new frequency level. And so you're a target, right? But you get to learn along the way. You're getting attacked, lower your frequency, understand what that feels like, understand how to step back into your power. And today I'm going to also go over some solutions, not just all the problems, but solutions as well. Body aches. We're going to talk about why you're going to be experiencing body aches in a little bit. Sleepless nights is a very common symptom of also getting attacked as well. What can I say about sleepless nights? Just this onslaught of I call them, what did I call them? Fake dreams, or like dream projections. But basically they have the ability to project a fake dream, create a lot of fear. Sometimes they're called fear dreams as well. I think Sharma calls them fear dreams. I totally get that. Basically what they do is they play upon your biggest fear. Could be losing a family member, could be a fear of spiders, could be falling off a cliff. But they're going to project that into your dreams so that you're battling your greatest fears all night long. You wake up and you're absolutely exhausted. Of course, scary dreams are a part of it. And not just like your average scary dream, but like a fear that really isn't your own, because they can actually project that as well. Eventually, if you get psychically attacked long enough, unfortunately, it will lead to prolonged anxiety, mega depression, like big time depression, right? That's where all the fear, doubt, insecurity comes from, is just your life force being drained from you for a very long time. Also like feeling apathetic. And I'm not just talking about one day where you don't want to do anything, like a prolonged period of time where you're like, why bother anymore? Okay, that's also a good example of just kind of a prolonged attack. And then, honestly, intrusive thoughts. And the other one that I have down here is lack of concentration. Especially if you're a meditator, then you'll notice, you're like, why can't I meditate? Like, why can't I just quiet my mind? This is bizarre. So intrusive thoughts, like it's been a while for me since I've had intrusive thoughts. And there's been a couple of attacks on me and the people around me in the past month or so. But I was driving around today, like just on a like backcountry road, and this onslaught of just drive off the road, just hit that person, like really messed up stuff. And of course I recognize it right away because I know it's not my own thought. And I'm like, get out of here. Like, whoever or whatever this is, So intrusive thoughts are a huge, huge sign of getting attacked and just having a frequency or an energy in your space that isn't your own. There are so many different forms of psychic attacks, right? There's psychic attacks in your dream. There's like so many to go into, but I want to just relay a couple so that you can be vigilant and aware. So psychic attacks in your dreams where they project a fake dream reality. And it's pretty wild and pretty freaky. The other kind is like a full possession. Most likely that is not possible for you. Your vibration is simply too high, even in your moments of doubt, even in your moments of depression. Your vibration naturally is just too high for anything to enter into your body. However, what I'm finding right now especially is a lot of Starseeds friends and family members. Maybe they're drinking a lot. Maybe they're freaking depressed. Maybe they hate their job, or they hate their partner, or they hate their life, right? I mean, that spawns an awakening. Everyone's going through it. So as your friends and family members are at the lowest vibrational frequency, guess what happens? A freaking entity enters into them, spews all this crazy garbage at you, like crazy stuff. Like really horrible, horrendous, mean, like just straight up mean. And you're like, this isn't my cousin. This isn't my uncle. This isn't my brother. That's not my dad. They would never say that. It's not them. Yeah, maybe they have been drinking. That lowers your frequency, right? Maybe they have been in a bad place. But when you get projected upon in that way, when it's extreme, all right, it's a good indication that you are getting attacked through an entity coming through a family member. And I call that a temporary possession. And I know it's like, all this like dark stuff, and the lighting in the room is changing, and, it doesn't, I'm going to end this video with a really, really positive note on this. But I'm just being honest. This is the truth. This is literally what their tactics are. Now, as long as we as Starseeds are aware of the tactics that the dark side have, then we aren't as vulnerable. We're aware. I know your tricks. I know what you're up to. I can recognize immediately what angle they're coming from to target me. so clearly. So that allows me not to blame my family member for getting attacked or gaslit or projected upon, right? I don't blame them. You know, maybe they could be more responsible about their frequency, but that's about it, right? And you can let that go and move forward and actually empower yourself during those experiences. It's like all of a sudden getting much darker in here. I think there's a huge storm coming. Okay. What else did I want to mention? So once again, the reason why there's this huge push with these attacks is because the dark side is scared, because there is a huge population just opening up their frequencies, and they're trying to target the ones who have been awakening, who have done a lot of the work to take us back down into a lower frequency. I've even noticed that entities have come through some of the people online to target me, to try and take me off my path or bring me down or question the information that I'm receiving. And I always use that as a moment to question, because if we get projected upon or attacked by a family member, say for example, and we just write it off. We're like, okay, cool, like clearly an entity. I'm just gonna walk away from this. I'm not gonna feed it any of my energy. You're only really halfway there, because part of the problem is, what is it called? Spiritual bypassing. Basically what that means is if you just write everything off, you're still not being the creator of your reality. If you pause for a moment and say, okay, clearly this isn't my dad, uncle, brother, you know, stepsister, I don't know, whatever, right? If it's not them and it's an entity, cool. You know, clearly I'm getting attacked, whatever, recognize that, but then also recognize that you manifested, created that reality in that moment. Is there something I need to look at? Is there something I need to learn? What do I need to pay attention to, right? That experience could have happened at any time, but it's happening now. So don't just write it off to say, oh, it's all the entity's fault, or like, clearly I'm just a victim here. No, you're creating your own reality. Why did you attract and manifest that? Is it really just to learn about the dark side? And sometimes that's all that it is, right? So just kind of taking responsibility for both sides of it is really important. Okay. I'm going to get into some solutions as far as if you are feeling aches and pains in your body, you are feeling drained, you are feeling apathetic and depressed and just crazy, you know, intrusive thoughts coming in. I do have some solutions. And I just want to mention that, you know what, I'm just going to read over all my solutions, and then I'm going to talk about why we shouldn't be fighting, okay? And I do that in quotations for a reason. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm really all over the place today. But the other thing I want to mention, one more thing about psychic attacks is entities can come through family members or friends to attack you. They usually cannot come through you. It's just really just cannot happen. But there's also things called like energetic parasites. And on a client today, all of the symptoms, everything going on, and I scanned his energy and I saw 2, and these parasites come in all shapes and forms. I've seen a lot of bizarre ones, but these ones in particular look like about this big. It was kind of gross. They're like giant black slugs, okay? One was sucking his life force energy from his crown chakra, and the other was on the back side in between his solar plexus and sacral chakra. And this slug was basically sucking and absorbing the life force energy from him. And it was affecting both his spiritual connection as well as his emotional and confidence, will sort of energy. So I removed them. For those of you who are maybe thinking, oh, you do sessions? This is like a monthly client that I have, and I've had for a couple years now. So that's it. I pretty much have 2 clients that I have monthly, and that's it. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so it's so interesting because these energetic parasites are direct. This is going to sound kind of gruesome and like maybe a little bit out there, but hey, you're here, so why not? So these energetic parasites are not necessarily conscious. So how I describe them is like a tool for the dark side. So maybe it's like a reptilian shapeshifter. Maybe it's just a giant dark energy being, okay? They're able to fractal themselves and create these energy parasites. The bizarre thing is, because I can see this with my third eye, is that these energy parasites were sucking the life force energy out of this client of mine, this beautiful starseed, and transmitting that life force energy back to the hub, which is the entity, the consciousness. There's pros and cons to this. I mean, as far as a psychic attack goes. The pros are, these things aren't really actually conscious, so there's not really a lot of blockers when it comes down to getting rid of them. There's no fight from them. You just have to recognize them and clear them. So what I did was I literally took them off. I kind of plucked them off. Actually, you know what's funny? I just remembered I did this now. You know how you want to get like a leech? That's what it reminded me of, a giant energetic leech. You know how you sprinkle salt? If a leech is, it's so gross, a leech is sucking you, you sprinkle salt. That's what I did. I took pure white light energy and I'm like, I wonder if this is gonna work. And I was sprinkling white light energy on them and they instantly unsucked themselves and they went away, right? And then what happens with energy parasites, and I've dealt with many of them before, is they actually leave a hole or a gap in that individual's aura. I've had many holes in my aura because of them, and I just sew up that energy gap in the aura, and I put white light in, and he was good to go. He said he immediately felt a shift in his energy. He even said that he felt lightheaded for a whole month up until we had that connection and I removed it, and instantly he felt like he was in his body again. But I'm gonna go into the other ways that we can work with basically getting attacked and what's happening right now. The biggest thing that you need to know is the dark is no challenge for the light. All you have to do is maintain your light. That's all you have to do. If you do not maintain your light, then you are feeding into the dark agendas, giving in to the attack, and eventually you will learn your lesson either way. But you can stumble along it, or you can quantum leap it. It's really up to you. Okay, so here are some solutions. There's so many solutions to attacks. It's whatever resonates with you, or a little bit of everything. Crystals, wearing crystals, different malas. I find wearing crystals the easiest because it's the most convenient. And there's a lot of them, and it wraps around my throat chakra and my heart and my solar plexus, and it even goes all the way down to my sacral. So I really love malas. It's just an efficient way of carrying rocks around with you. So crystals. Essential oils, believe it or not, frankincense is an extremely protecting essential oil, so keep that in mind. Vetiver is a very grounding essential oil. Keep that in mind if you're feeling a little bit ungrounded and unprotected. Okay, also light weapons. Through a couple of portal activations and battles in the past, you guys got introduced to some of your light weapons. Some of you don't know what your light weapons look like. I just want to mention, if this is the first time ever hearing about light weapons, they are basically, sometimes they look like traditional weapons, but they are full of white light, like a giant sword that's just like a sword of white light, and it's really epic. And also, sometimes your light weapon could be a pink blanket full of love that you wrap around the planet, or you wrap around someone in need. That is a light weapon as well. So sometimes they can be a lot more obscure. I've seen some very interesting ones. So light weapons, you can literally battle dark energies. What else? You can call upon ascended masters. Really interesting. Nat calls upon Jesus all the time, and I think that comes from she wasn't raised Catholic, but her grandma was really Catholic, and so she feels comfortable calling in Jesus as an ascended master. So does my friend Zach. Feel comfortable calling in Jesus. I understand that Jesus is just unconditional love, but I usually call in Archangel Michael, who is anytime I'm in need, he is like a freaking warrior angel that will come through. Whereas the Jesus vibration is way more soft, unconditional, like ever-present sort of energy. So you can call in ascended masters, call in Buddha, you know, whatever resonates with you. Of course, invisibility bubbles we've talked about, and also like white light bubbles and shields as well we've talked about. What else? Okay, so the number one thing that really comes through at this time, as far as like this battle that's going on, and this has changed for me in the past, recently, is it's not about fighting anymore. And this, like when I say a sentence like that, I instantly know that's going to get misinterpreted. All right, EA is just surrendering to the dark side and she wants everyone else to surrender. And that's not the case at all. When I say it's not about fighting, I mean, it's not about picking a side and projecting that side on the other side to fight against it. That is still a very limited way of navigating different frequencies. Fighting is still a limited way of navigating frequencies. So, if we're not going to fight, then what is the ultimate thing that will always win? Always, 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 other than picking a side and fighting? It's love. Choosing love, okay, as stereotypical as that sounds, is not fighting. It's not fighting. So for years, like I'm talking probably like 8 years, like up until maybe 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I was a fighter and I loved it though. Like my warrior side, especially since I can fully see and experience the astral realm, like bringing in the souls, bringing in the light warriors, getting out the light weapons, like full on battle. Loved it. And hey, I mean, we are still called into battle, right? Like, I mean, that the fighting aspect doesn't go away. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the example of my client today. Energetic parasites sucking his life force energy. Not good, right? So there's 2 options here. Well, there's 3 options. One option is you ignore it. And usually that happens if you're not aware of it, if you're not tuned in with your body, if you're not checking in with yourself, or simply you're in 3D and you're just literally autopilot programming it, okay? The other 2 options for the ones who are aware of what's going on or feeling off even, you either fight it. And when I used to fight entities and parasites and things like that, like I said, up until not too long ago, I would remove it and then it would be a battle. Like me like fighting with light and like light weapons and like following it around and making sure that it's like completely gone or completely obliterated. It was a lot of work. There's a lot of dark shit out there and fighting it all the time was a lot of work. A lot of work. Okay. Option 3, I guess, right? But really only 2. You either fight it or you transmute it. Trust me, it's so much easier. But you have to be able to sit in the vibration of pure, unconditional love. That's the tough part. You can never you can't transmute dark energy with unconditional love if you're lying to yourself, if you're clinging on to an identity, if you're not dealing with pain, if you're distracting yourself, and ultimately, if you don't unconditionally love yourself, and I'm talking about soul, body, mind, emotions, all of it, then it will be very difficult to fully step into that energy to transmute the darkness. Because, and this sounds kind of scary, okay, but entities do have a way of pinpointing your biggest and worst fear and, what is it called? Amplifying it. So if you're still hanging on to shit and you're lying to yourself, watch out, right? And not to say that I'm in this frequency of unconditional love all the time. I still have fears. And boy, have they been playing on them in the past 2 weeks. So, but even though there has been a lot of psychic attacks and they've been playing upon my worst fears, and And yeah, it has drained me. And yeah, I did get sucked in. But I got sucked in momentarily. And I was able to transmute myself out of it. So instead of going and attacking and fighting and battling and worrying it out with all of these entities, instead, this is what I did with my client today. I said, thank you so much, you beautiful little black slugs, for being around my client to show him the experience of the dark side. Come here. Come here. Do you want a hug? I want to hug you. Come here. Just give me a hug. They're running away from you. They're running away from you. There's no them coming at you. There's just love and pure appreciation. That's unconditional love. They can't handle that. That's the way to win the war. That's the only way. It's not about fighting anymore. It's not. And yeah, there are still battles going on. And yeah, we still have to stand up and say no. But we can't get stuck there. We can't get stuck there because we're feeding the matrix if we do that. Are you left wing or right wing? Who cares? Come on, it's all an illusion. Are you dying from this or dying from this? Who cares? Come on. I mean, it's not who cares. It's important. It is. It's all an illusion. Remove yourself from polarity. All right? So the solutions that I recommend is to transmute the darkness through unconditionally loving yourself. So say, for example, you're feeling off, you're feeling drained, you're feeling tired, and you're like, whoa, 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 Elizabeth, I am not a warrior. I do not have light weapons. I can't do whatever you do. I can't. First of all, you can. All right. Let's just clear that off the table. But secondly, you don't have to see anything. You don't have to know even what's going on. Is it a past life thing? Is it an old injury? Is it a voodoo from a neighbor? Is it a dark entity? What is it? You don't need to know to transmute it. All you need to do is step into the highest vibrational frequency that you can, which means get rid of toxic people in your life, even just momentarily. Stop watching the news. Stop deep diving into conspiracy theories. Stop following all these teachers that make you doubt everything that you know. Cut everything off. Even me, cut me off. Please, please do. Because that's going to allow you to align to your own intuition. The more that you allow other realities into your own, the more that you doubt your own frequency and vibration. That's not good. That's not good for you or the collective or the battle that we are all fighting right now. Realign yourself to you and give yourself that unconditional love. Like I said, use the crystals and the essential oils and the things. You don't need them, but use them. They're a helpful tool. Take a bath, write a journal entry, walk in the woods, talk to a friend who you know sees you and hears you and supports you. Realign your ability to unconditionally love yourself, and parasites and entities cannot exist in that environment. Even if they attach momentarily, they will go away. There's no fighting, there's no resisting, there's no ancient ritual technique that you need to do to get rid of this stuff. There's not. There was in the past many tools, many rituals, many techniques, many cord-cutting letters. We're getting away from that. There is nothing that you need to do physically within space or time to transmute energies. This is the fifth dimension. This is where we're going. Yeah, we're still stuck. We're still kind of navigating 3D and 5D. You know, we're still transmuting and shifting and changing. But know that you are powerful, and that's the problem. Everything that's going on right now is making you doubt yourself. Making you doubt the fact that you have the ability, with your own conscious fractal of pure source energy, to transmute and transcend anything. That's my greatest concern, is that you forget who you are. And I think that is your greatest concern as well. And that's why you're searching. And that's why you're restless. That's why you're anxious. But every time you search and you feel disappointed, because you're not searching from within, you lower your vibration and you allow other realities to affect your own. That's not just detrimental to you. That's detrimental to the world. All right. I want to remind you 2 things before I sign off. Getting psychically attacked is a good indication that you're raising your frequency. So we move out of autopilot frequency. We move out of just living your life. We move into the 4th dimension frequency. You're questioning everything. You're looking at both sides. You're analyzing the agendas. You're understanding the conspiracies. You're getting into the mix of everything. When you move from autopilot to questioning, you're vulnerable. You're open. You're open to any information. You have no discernment. You're just floating. You're just taking it all in. You're prone to attack in that space. A lot of us get viciously attacked in any of the ways, and we lower our frequency and we say, you know what, it's safer here in autopilot. It's safer just not knowing. It's safer just existing and being a human. And that prevents us from full ascension. The fact that you're getting psychically attacked means that you're raising your frequency and you're just more vulnerable, and that's okay. But check in with yourself. All right? Now remember as well that nothing happens without your permission. And I know that's totally a double negative. All right? Reality and life is never happening to you. It's happening with you and upon your direction. If you allow someone to come into your life to create your perception of your reality, then you're allowing someone else to create your next moment. Life is never happening to you. You get to choose how to perceive it. Therefore, you get to choose the cause and the effect. Full stop. Please remember that. Because the fear that I'm seeing, the anxiety, the depression, the attacks that I'm witnessing, that I'm experiencing firsthand, it is only to lower our vibration, to forget that we are infinite, to forget that this is just a game. It's a game, all right? And last but not least, a little download that I received this morning before the intrusive thoughts is, I choose to believe that we are here to save humanity, not to die with it. I don't know about you, but I see the world out there. I know how bad it is. I know the corruption. I know the agendas at play. But I also know that those agendas have always been at play, that this world has always been corrupt, that we have always been manipulated. I know that I don't know about you, but I am here to change things. I am here for a reason. I am not just here to watch humanity crumble. I am here with my own individual tools to help humanity ascend, to help humanity rebuild. And it is so easy to forget that that is why we're here, when all we see is collapse and corruption and death and destruction. But when you remove yourself from all of that and you go within, you reconnect to all that is. And you once again remember that you are infinite. I will see all of you in the 5th dimension. Keep up the good work. You are not alone, Starseed.